Hello and welcome into my Bruins first round playoff predictions. I'm going to be ranking the teams I think we're going to be playing from most likely to least likely, or least likely to most likely in this case, how we'd beat each team and how we would lose to each team, and then I'll give my own prediction about which team will win and in how many games. Spoiler alert, I don't have the Bruins winning every series. There's some matchups that, hockey is a lot about matchups more than team skill. So there's some matchups I don't like. Like, for instance, if the Bruins play the Capitals in the playoffs, I think the Capitals would win. They're not a possibility for the first round, but the Capitals they beat us it feels like every time, and I feel like they play a very physical game, and they just have our number. It's just one of those things in hockey. Some teams just have your number. I feel like the Capitals are one of them with the Bruins, so I hope they don't get far or to the conference finals, which, it's the Capitals, so nothing to worry about there. Pittsburgh will take them out in round 2. But anyway, starting off with my least likely to face, you gotta go with Florida. These guys need everything to go right. They need to win every game and then have some teams lose some games. They have 3 games remaining, 2 against us, so I really doubt they're going to win every game. And they have 1 against Buffalo, who has a thing for beating teams that need wins. Buffalo just beats teams they're not supposed to. They have nothing to play for, but they're going to win anyway. So I really don't like Florida's chances. How do we beat Florida? Florida has a lack of depth on forwards. Their third line's nothing really that great, and they're very reliant on Barkov, Huberdeau, Dadonov. And if either one of those players goes cold, they're done already. Their defense, they would need Ekblad to turn into like a Norris Trophy nominee in the playoffs to win a series against us. And Roberto Luongo is the only way they'd have a chance to beat us. He would have to go like God mode. James Reimer's in net, we'd eat his lunch. Don't like Florida. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, but if they do, send them packing 4. Like Bruins in 4 in that one. Hopefully you read that. It says Bruins in 4. Yeah, nothing really to say too much there. Okay, the second least likely team we play is Pittsburgh. There's still a possibility for us to play Pittsburgh in the first round. Pittsburgh's at 96 points, and they're only 2 points above the wild card too. I'm pretty sure if they win 1 game, they're out of that. They're out of contention for that. So Pittsburgh literally needs like a point or 2 to guarantee they won't be in that spot. Pittsburgh's remaining games are the Blue Jackets and Ottawa. You'd think they pick up a win against Ottawa. You would hope that they pick up a win against Ottawa, so we don't have to play them in the first round. How can we win? We have a better defense than they do, and I think our defense is more equipped to shut them down than some other teams. Our forwards are very capable defensively. Patrice Bergeron, Marchand, Krejci, Riley Nash, David Backes, if they're all going and they're all healthy, we can do a good number on Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's also very tired. This is their 3rd year in a row where they're going to try to do a long cup run. I'm thinking the games are going to add up. I don't expect Pittsburgh to win the cup this year. They probably will because I don't expect them to. But, yeah. And how we lose, Penguins' depth is better at forwards. I mean, when you run Phil Kessel on your third line. And Matt Murray's pretty good in the playoffs. You may have heard of him. I mean, only 2 years and 2 cups. I mean, decent start to his career. For this series, I think I go with a modest Bruins in 7. That light glare is bad. Can I find a way? Yeah, I'm just going to shove it real close. Bruins in 7. We're also a pretty good matchup for the Penguins. I don't know. We just play them well. We seem to not struggle against them. The 4th least likely team I think we're going to be playing is Columbus. And Columbus is an interesting team. I really hope that them and Pittsburgh play each other in the first round. That way, one of them can knock each other out because you don't want to run into either of these teams in the playoffs. And 2, they're very defensive based. They're not really going to light you up offensively. If we play Columbus, expect tight games, not high scoring, like 2-1, 3-2, 1-0, real barn burners. Barn burners, that's not a good term to use. I'm not Jack Edwards. Please disregard. But I don't like the matchup against Columbus. Their offense is nothing too like. They're not going to light you up ever. But their defense, Seth Jones, Zach Werenski, and company, they're a lot to handle. Sergei Bobrovsky, if he turns it on, your pro season can be done just like that. He's that type of goalie. Yeah, how we win? We shut down Columbus's offense, which I think is very doable. Tuukka plays good in tight games. That's the key thing. Tuukka, people aren't that confident in the playoffs, but I think he'll be good. I think he'll be fine. But in this series, you really gotta worry about how we lose, and they have better defense than us. It's just is what it is, and their goaltending is better, and that's why this is one of the only series I have us losing. And I'm not sure if this goes later into the playoffs if we lose, but I think first round if we face them we lose, because timing matters and that's key. So I have Columbus in 7. That's one of the few I have us losing. The third, most likely, is we play Toronto, the Maple Leafs. Putting them on top of each other here because board space is limited. Now, Toronto. Interesting team. They play us pretty decently. How we win? Team defense can shut down the depth of the Leafs. The Leafs' offense is pretty good. They have JVR, Marner, Nylander, Matthews, Marlowe, and a lot of other good players like Kasperi Kapanen. Good depth like Andreas Johnson, or however you pronounce it. So they can run 4 lines at you, which is dangerous in the playoffs. And we can win by taking advantage of their weak defense. The defense is nothing too great. I'm pretty sure they still got Roman Polak out there. Gardner's decent in the playoffs. He was last year. I thought he stood out in the playoffs last year. Morgan Riley's okay. I mean, Travis Dermott's going to be out there. I'm probably missing a name or two, but I don't fear the Leafs defense, but who I do fear is Frederik Andersen. This guy can turn it on, and not as much fear as Bobrovsky, but he can turn it on. How do we beat them? How do we lose them? Depth isn't shut down, and their youth/speed prevails. They have more speed on us. It just is what it is. And we'd also lose if Frederik Andersen turns it on. I don't think we lose, though. I think we got Bruins in 7. I think that would be one of the more entertaining series, and I think it's the third most likely because there's about like a 35% chance we don't win the Atlantic, but all 35% of that results in facing Toronto, whereas the other 65% is spread out amongst the 5 other teams. So, that's why they're third most likely. Not because I don't think we're going to win the Atlantic. I think we will, but if we don't, you're guaranteed Toronto. Number 2 on the most likely we face, I have the Philadelphia Flyers. Okay, the Flyers, I don't want to face them. I don't think we'd lose to them in the first round. I actually have us winning in 6, which, I'll just put that there. Bruins in 6. But the Flyers are the type of team where you just get bad vibes because of history. They pulled the reverse sweep where we went up 3-0 and lost in 7. We then swept them the year after. But the Flyers are a team where if they get hot on the offensive side, you can be in for a bad time. Now, their goaltending shaky. As you saw on Easter, we faced a very hot Peter Mrazek, who we were able to get by. I think he had 36 saves on 39 shots, something like that. Had a very good game. And if you face that Peter Mrazek, who knows where the series goes. But I don't think you get that Peter Mrazek. He's not that consistent. Now, Provorov, Gostisbehere, and company back there, solid defense, but they're young and inexperienced, which is why I got to give the edge to the Bruins in this one. Am I missing anything? I said if Mrazek pulls a Jake Allen, because no one expected Jake Allen to do what he did last year in the playoffs, which, hopefully Mrazek doesn't pull a Jake Allen or we'd be out. I don't think he will, though. And we got to take advantage of that sketchy goaltending that they got. And the most likely team I think we face, which you probably know by now considering they're not there, the New Jersey Devils. New Jersey. How are you here? That's the first question I have to ask. I think we're the most likely to face you. Who do you got left? You got, where are you? You got the Leafs and Caps. You probably lose to the Caps, but you probably beat the Leafs. You probably hold off Florida. Probably. We gotta take advantage of your defense being average. They're not bad. They're just not good. And if you shut down Taylor Hall, I think you beat this team. And I think the Bruins, with the forwards they have, can shut down most top lines in the playoffs. Not all, but I feel like the Devils' top line is very easy to shut down compared to other teams you face in the first round. Or maybe you let Taylor Hall get his and you just don't let any other line get any. But Kyle Palmieri's also decent. Zajak's there. But, does this team really scare you? The only way they win, really, is if Corey Schneider goes into God mode. And that's the thing about hockey. A lot of these teams that shouldn't win usually win because their goalie stands on their head. And the thing about most of these teams, I'd say the Flyers being the least likely, they all, for the most part, have a goalie that can stand on their head. Even though Bobby Lou's old, Roberto Luongo, he's still capable of winning games. Mrazek, I don't know. But the other 4, Murray, Bobrovsky, Frederik Andersen, and Schneider, elite goaltenders for the most part. I consider them all top 10 in the league. I think we beat most of these teams. But for the Devils, I already said I don't really fear them that much. Bruins in 5. I'll give Taylor Hall his game. He probably gets like a hat trick in New Jersey at the Prudential Center. And yeah. So that's how I think the first round would go for the Bruins, given the teams they face. Don't be too hard on me. I only have us losing to Columbus. I don't like facing heavy, strong teams like the Caps or Columbus. They're just not a good matchup for the Bruins. I've been your boy, Patar98. I hope you enjoy this preview, and I'll see you for the review tomorrow for the game against Florida.